Yeah, definitely excited to see our guys play hard. It's always difficult when you have a big win, try to really get your young men focused at the level that they really need to be at, regardless of who the opponent is, because of all the excitement. Everybody's patting them on the back. But I felt real confident after seeing them in Tuesday's practice that it was business as usual. And I think that showed on Saturday. We played real hard. Our goals was to make sure that we stopped the run. We held them to 2.1 yards per carry. I was very excited about that. We did a great job in executing the defensive calls against the run. Third down, 2 weeks in a row, we've been really good on third down. So I'm really excited about that. We're looking at some different personnel packages, trying to get some young men to utilize their strengths and some things that we're doing coverage-wise, and that's been very helpful for us. We got 4 3-and-outs. And anytime you can hold a team to 3 plays and getting off the field and getting your offense the ball in good field position, that helps us as a whole team, helps us on special teams also. So I've been challenging our young guys to find ways to get off the field immediately. If that's a turnover, great, but we got to get off the field. So I thought we played hard. We did a good job eliminating the explosive plays. Of course, we had 2 plays I was disappointed in when it came to lack of focus. Taking a play off right before the half, that second play, our corner, he did not use his proper technique and sold the farm, as you would say, and that led to a 46-yard pass. And then we had the third down right after the half where we had the safety not utilize proper technique, and that led to a big play. So I was very excited. We still got to improve on our penalties, very disappointed in that. As I told our young men, you can't let your emotions get the best of you. You can't allow excitement to allow you to lose focus. And so we know this game 2, we got to improve going into game 3 in those areas. As far as Indiana State, another new head coach, Kurt Mallory, has great tradition. He was at North Dakota State and under Craig Bowl. And watching his film, the team is going to be very physical. Very physical team. We know we got to do a great job against the run. Hopefully we're able to build some momentum with our guys trusting what we're teaching as far as fitting your gaps, trusting your eyes, and we got to make sure we tackle. This team is going to come in. They've played 2 very good teams, Eastern Illinois and the University of Tennessee. And you watch the Tennessee film, you'll realize offensively they held their own. They did not get knocked around. They did a good job with their scheme. So really excited about the challenge. It's always fun to be able to come back to Williams Stadium and be around this great crowd and put on a great performance. At this time, I'll take any questions.
Coach, you mentioned the job that you've been able to do against teams on third down this year. They've really struggled offensively on third down in 2 of 22 through 2 games. How do you keep that going as far as that script for them?
We got to win first and second down. We have to win first and second down to put them in third and long situations, 7+. Because anytime you allow an offense to get to that 3rd and 4 or less, now as a defense, you're trying to really make it a guessing game because you can still run the ball. Once you make it 3rd and 7+, the chances of it being passed goes up tremendously. And so we got to win first and second down. That's what we did this past Saturday. And even against Baylor, we did a pretty good job getting to second and long. We just got to win both downs to make sure on third down we can be successful.
Indiana State as a running back's put up a lot of big numbers first 2 weeks. What have you seen on film from him of what he brings, what are some of his strengths?
Well, they utilized 2 running backs, and I think the thing that I saw is that they can hit you both inside and outside. And jet sweep is a big play that they run to attack their perimeter, but they also do a good job with their inside zone play. And so they done a great job of utilizing both backs and allowing them to both be on the field at the same time. So that makes it even more difficult because they do a great job with motion. And so they may motion one way, and you're thinking that running back's getting ready to get the ball, but then they come back with the other running back, and then they can do inside or outside. So it's a great scheme that they have in place. Those 2 running backs complement each other very well. And then the other thing is they're willing to block. And so now you really don't have any tidbits on who's really going to get the ball because both of them are really similar and they're both physical.
Their tight end, Jaquette McClendon's been more instrumental this year in the passing game. He's also a good blocker. What have you seen out of him, and does he remind you of any tight ends you've faced in the past?
Well, we talked about it when we saw him on Sunday. He's a Kendall Kuhlman type, a young man that can line up as a receiver and hurt you vertically, but also when he gets in the box, he can hold his own against a defensive end, and he can move. You know, they do a lot, like I said, a lot of things with jet sweep where they have him be the lead blocker, and he's coming all the way across from the other side, and he's making contact on the perimeter defenders. He's a very athletic young man. I've been real pleased with the way that he plays the game. It's been fun to watch him play. We know we got to put together a good game plan and really see how they're going to utilize him this week because he's really a dual threat. He even gets the ball on the jet sweep. So, you know, he's a talented young man that's very versatile for them.
Coaches always talk about the greatest improvement in a team comes from game 1 to game 2 during the year. What improvement did you see in game 2 that you're most proud of?
Well, I'm probably most proud of how we attacked the run. Our young men knew the first week, you know, I thought we played hard, but when we came back and watched the film, we knew, even though, as I stated, we knew we were going to get big boy football, still we didn't get off blocks very well. We were magnets. I thought they made up in their mind this past week that we're going to be more physical. We did a great job of using our hands to get off blocks, and so I was pleased with that. And then also third down, just to be able to continue that, because as I stated in preseason, if you build a mindset that you can stop an offense on third down, that normally carries over into the season if you start off well. If you don't, it's normally a seesaw. 1 week you're good, next week you're not. But I think our young men are really taking pride in knowing that we are tough to get beat on third down.
Talk about some of the jet sweeps and things that they run. With a game being played sideline to sideline like that, how confident are you in your defense to match up, and also particularly when it comes to the penalties?
Yeah, you know, that one thing we got to do is eliminate the penalties. But speed-wise, that's probably why I'm probably most excited about this year. I do feel like we got 3, 4, maybe 5 linebackers that can really run from sideline to sideline. In the back end, you know, all those young men can run. And so it's going to really boil down to making sure we key properly and have our eyes in the right spots when it comes to all the different formations. I even told our staff it seemed like they motion even from the cheerleader section with all the movements that they do. I mean, it's amazing how they are able to do that at a high level. And so we got some tendencies that we got to get across to our young men that they have to trust and not go for all the facade because if we take one step the wrong way, it's going to be a long night. I mean, even against Tennessee, you saw a couple of pictures where the linebacker took a step to his left because he read wrong, and it led to an explosive run. So we understand that we have to make sure our eyes are right, our hands are right, and our feet are right.
You mentioned in your opening statement how you wanted to put in different packages to get these younger players involved. Against Morehead State, you would bring in a fourth safety on certain passing situations instead of a third cornerback. Was that part of the game plan, or is that something that you want to go with, to bring in a safety who can also cover well and have Peters and Turner out there at corner?
Well, you know, really want to have multiple packages. You know, that's always been my goal as we've been able to recruit. Now it's really about personnel matchups. So we have the ability to bring in 4 safeties. We have the ability to bring in 4 corners. We even have a package where we can bring in 5 corners if we need to, because recruiting has allowed us to be more multiple. So it's really based on the offense attack that we're seeing that will determine what multiple packages we will go to. And so that's exciting for me, is that with injuries that occur, my goal is to always make sure we have the best 11 on the field. And because of the recruiting we've done the last few years, we're able to make sure the best 11 is on the field at all times.
ISU has played 2 quarterbacks so far this year. What do you see out of those 2 guys? Are they similar? Were they different? And do you expect to see both of them Saturday?
Well, over the summer, I watched a lot of film of Indiana State just to get, you know, an assessment of their personnel. And Mr. Isaac Harker, I mean, he threw for over 2,500 yards. And so I was real impressed with his game management. He had 19 touchdowns versus 8 interceptions. Seemed like he managed the team very well. And then watching the first game and then just reading preseason newspapers, you know, they talked about a major battle going on at quarterback and the redshirt freshman, Cade Sparks. And so the first game, it looked like they made a decision just to play both. Tennessee game, I was kind of surprised that they went with the redshirt freshman, but they went with him, seemed like the whole game. I think the mindset, in our opinion, is to prepare for the redshirt freshman. He did a nice job. You know, you don't know all the dynamics behind the scenes of why they made that decision based on last year's film. When you look at, like I said, Mr. Harker, he was a real good player. So we may see both, but I'm anticipating we're going to see the redshirt freshman.